It should show what's on the screen now. Okay. I'll start the full. Okay, okay. Well, it might have been my fault, right?
I've watched the Tuesday class.
Tuesday day,
Yeah, I know it's just an hour, but I
yeah,
don't know what else to do.
yeah, that's possible. It's 3:20 up here. How about your all's friends? You coming? Will be here?
He was working at home.
Was he working?
What?
Say he was working?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, he was working.
Where you work at?
Other things.
Okay, there's 8 of you here, and, one other's accounting for. I got student in Beckley, she had some kind of gastric bypass, so, if she's not gonna be in class tonight. Okay. The chorus is not here. I emailed these folks today, see if Ellen is not here. Ellen, you here last week? Weren't you after something? Okay, Tara, she's been emailing me, so she's okay. Alfred,
Yes.
Brianna. Where she is, I need to email her. William. Rice. Morgan. Joy. Eva. Sydney. Lady. Okay, there's Christopher and Miranda. Guys, one girl's name I didn't know, I guess, is it, Carlos?
Yes.
C-U-C-O? Last name C-U-C-O?
No, it's not the, like,
C-U-C-A?
I don't know. It's CUCO, but there's something before CUCO.
I know, you wrote it down here, but I had it up here too. Okay. As long as you're here, Carlos, so, you go by Carlos. All right. Carlos, that's more of a Spanish name.
Yes, that's fine.
You're French.
Awesome.
You're gonna take me tonight. All right, we've got a lot to do tonight. Okay, now, have you got the textbook yet? Have you tried to get into Cengage yet? Have you started working on the first assignment yet? Okay, I noticed a lot of people walked into Cengage, but just start on that assignment. It's not due Saturday, nothing's due Saturday. You see something like that, but, start working on your first Cengage assignment. And what we do in class tonight is gonna help you, the last part of that assignment. And you've logged in, have you logged in yet? Yeah, don't you look up yet?
No, but I got it sent me.
Where'd you get the code?
It's in there, but they use the free trial.
Okay, They give you 10 days free trial.
I think it was 10 or 14 or something.
If y'all bid on it. Okay, good. Have you got a textbook here?
Yes.
Ebook? Have you got a textbook?
Yes.
Ebook? Is it on your computer?
No, 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 no. No, I have this.
No.
You have a book.
I'm talking about the textbook.
Not to order.
Ebook?
We have to order.
Yeah.
Is this the one I had the first day? The big blue one?
No, this was a book. It was a text.
This is good for 2 semesters. Down at the bookstore, it's $208, and you get that code with.
How much?
That's good for 2 semesters,
How much?
208. Anybody find it ain't cheap?
This one.
The bookstore.
Thank you.
Jobs run the bus. All right.
Too expensive. Too expensive.
All right. One, go
I
ahead.
have this one. Yes.
Well, where is it? It's gonna be in class. I know
Sure.
they're heavy, but you gotta carry it around.
But we have it.
All right. Okay. Okay, if you got this one, you're okay. But both of
So
you,
if we got this, we still have to pay Cengage $100.
you have to pay CJ something for that key.
Okay.
But between you, if you look, both of you go to the same book,
Yeah, we got some.
okay. Between you, you're paying CJ $100 a piece. That'd be,
We have to pay each $100.
yeah,
Yes.
they use the same key. That's 200. All right, but you would have paid 200 per person, but that's true. So you still save money. Probably got this cheap or loan or given to you.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, that's cheap. Now, how about a little Eva back here? Have you been on Cengage? Have you logged into Cengage? All right. Are you on a free trial or did you buy the code? You've got the code. But you don't have a text. No, need to find another one like this one. No. Should be a lot of them around. Nothing else, I'll get mine back on library. In the book. But, mine can go in to see whatever help they have. A class, maybe borrow their book or something. All right, so login should be pretty easy now, or hopefully it is. Now, there's a lot of exercises in, on Moodle. You do not have to work those exercises on Moodle, okay? You do not have to work exercises on Moodle. They're optional. They're in your textbook, okay? And your problem. But the main important assignment is Cengage. And let's see, what did you say you were up to on chapter 1, 91%? 90? Oh, you're working at it, aren't you? Okay. Now, if you're up to 93 or 94%, you're satisfied with that, that's okay. But you can go back in, I guess, and make corrections and get 100, right? Okay, so if your homework counts maybe a fourth of your grade, that should be 100. And you've got test grades, fourth or fifth or something like that. All right, we're going to work upon tonight exactly like similar, not exactly, but similar to the one that you have. The one you have to do on chapter 1 Cengage. Okay, now I haven't used Cengage before, and I hope you don't get any glitches. Some students had trouble getting into Cengage, even with their key code, but I'm sure they got a support thing on there. Does the desk have a number you can call if you got a problem, or an email, or, had trouble, can you get support? All right. It does have, and you can find it also by Google, okay? All right, we're going to go to the continuum problem in your textbook. And all of you need to see a textbook at this point in time. Okay. So, now we can arrange that. We got one back here. I was going to ask you to do this. Is this your tennis playing outfit, or is this what you are all the time? It's fine. Tennis, right? Yeah. Okay, fix up here, fix up there. Oh, you did bring it? You did bring your book?
No, it's yours. It's yours.
Oh. Okay, well, what they had, yeah. Golly. But they back to them, didn't they? One of those in there. Okay. Okay. You have yours, right? Good. All right, have you found that continuum problem yet? Look at page 52, please, page 52. Okay, guys, this is the problem. Let's back up my book. Finish. Okay, everybody's got paper, everybody can see the book, everybody can see the problem. Now, we're gonna walk through this, and I'll put solutions here on the screen when we get finished. But we're gonna do the accounting equation. The most important thing in chapter 1 was the accounting equation. This is it, this accounting equation. We have to add one of the things to it, expenses and revenue, but still the accounting equation. All right, and the other important thing were the 3 statements, and they're attached. We will work on those tonight also. So we're going to go through the whole accounting process of chapter 1 all before we begin chapter 2. Okay, so on the first transaction, I'll have to snoop around and read somebody's book. All right, we deposited $4,000 in our account. Now, where will you put that? Look at the accounting equation. Where will you put it? You're going to put it under cash, right? Okay, assets cash. Now, it goes 2 places. That's why we call it double entry. And where's it going to go over here on the right side? Pick another account. Which one? Capital. All right, so we've got our business started, okay? Two of you sit at the table and make sure both of you have the same thing. You put it under cash first. Then you put it under capital. All right. All right, let's look at the second one. Now, the second one is we received $4,500 or $3,500 from a local radio station for serving services as the guest, disc jockey. Okay. Now we received money. Where are we going to put it? We got money. Where are we going to put it?
Accounts receipts.
No, it's cash. Put it under cash.
60.
All right, put it under cash. See if we received it, right? We received cash, right? So put it under cash. All right, now where are you gonna put it over on the right side? Where does it make sense to put it? Fees earned?
Yes.
All right, put it under fees earned. Okay, now, I know you don't have a straight edge, but you probably could, use a laptop, but draw a line all the way across. Draw a line all the way across. That second transaction, this is what they did. Draw a line all the way across, under 6.2. Under 6.2, draw a line all the way across. Yeah, under 6.2, when you just did, draw a line all the way across. Well, just to connect the lines you already got there. Yeah, connect those lines, that'd be fine. Under 6.2. I just want to prove a point of this. Just connect the lines. All right, it'll work out whether you connect it or not, but I want you to connect it. Now I want you to add what you have, write down a balance for everything. What is your balance for cash when you add those two together? How much? 75? All right. Okay, any other balances across it? Bring down your balance for, capital. Bring it down where it says balance. How much is that? Bring down your balance for fees earned. How much is that? Now, if you look at that line where it says balance, your account equation is correct, isn't it? All right, now what does the next one say? All right, we purchased supplies from city office supplies for $350. Agreed to pay $100 in 10 days. Wait, I skipped one. Agreed to share office space with a local real estate agent. We paid $800 for the rent. All right, if you pay out $800, what are you gonna do on the left side? Subtract 800 from what?
From the back.
Cash, right. So minus 800 under cash.
Where do we write it?
Under cash,
Under, yeah,
yeah, minus 800. You're spending 800, so minus 800. All right. What does it go on the other side? Under office rent, okay. I bring down all those balances. Now I want to show you this solution right now. Before we go any further, let me find this solution and show it to you up to this point. Oops, that's PowerPoint. Okay, I've got to go get a little disc. Now I want you all to try the next 2 or 3 on your own. Try to get this thing moved up. I'll be right there. I'm having trouble getting up what I need here. Okay, yes. Okay, now when you buy supplies and you're promised to pay $100 10 days later, that's still on credit. You paid out no cash. So you bought supplies, so what, you're gonna add that 350, whatever it is, to 350?
Yeah, like he has to pay 350, but he paid.
Yeah, put the 350 under supplies. And how are you paying for those supplies? All of it's on credit, so put 350 under accounts payable. The 100 was thrown in there to make you ask questions.
And the
So
one,
ignore the 100.
What?
Just ignore the 100. Don't pay attention to the 100.
oh, okay.
Would it be a minus 350 or just a?
To accounts payable, it's a plus 350. All right, let me show you a couple things here. Sorry about my headings here. I tried to blow it up, and they went crazy. But please look, this is not all the accounts. All right, here's your deposit, and here's your cap. Here's your $3,500 fees earned, and here's your 3,500 fees earned. Now, this is what I meant to, the reason I wanted you to draw that line, so you know that there is a balance coming up. Put down your balance of 75, 4, and 35. Now, what was this $800 for? Man. All right, minus 800 under cash, leaving 6,700. Write down your balances for capital fees earned. Now, the expenses I'll show you in a minute. Now, the $350, I want you to see how that's covered. It's a plus to supplies, an asset. And it's also a plus to accounts payable. I just don't have my titles here. Write down all your totals, 67, 350, 350, 435. All right, what did you do on June the 6th?
Paid 500 to a local radio station to advertise services.
All right, you paid 500. That's a minus 500 to cash. And also under advertising expense, it'd be a minus 500. All right, so get these caught up and do the next three. Now, let me briefly show you through June the 6th, the rest of this statement. If you will bear with me here, here's the expenses down through June the 6th. And all you have, the 800 was what? Balance? Was the 800?
Office rent,
All right, what's the 500? Advertising expense. Okay, so get me down through that 500 advertising expense on the chart you have before you. See, I don't know what happened to all my accounts over here. Gosh. They went in the wrong place. All right, do the next three. If you're sitting at the table with someone, work together.
You always balance
It's gonna be.
Ever.
it
What now?
out. You always balance it out.
Yes.
Like,
Balance and whatever you add to it, yes. Always write down the balance, yes. If anyone is out there and live streaming at this point, would you please text me and let me know you're present? 276-964-3431. And all of you that may watch this videotape tonight or some other night, please inform me if you're still in this class, because I'm going to have to drop you sometime next week if I don't hear from you. Okay, I have another student out there. I don't know where she's from. She's blonde. She's supposed to be my day class.
Oh. Good. Great.
I'll get her name, that's true. Sounds like that.
Yeah, she's arriving on Sunday. She's not here right now.
Oh, she's not here yet. Oh, I believe y'all told me about her. Yeah.
She's arriving like.
Oh,
Sunday.
that's it. Okay. Well, tell her she's okay. Y'all
She's here.
help her, huh?
She's in the county right here.
Stay close. Let me make sure.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
She's
not
coming
around
on
until
Sunday.
Sunday. And maybe I'll get about the date. She's on my day roster, but she's welcome to come to my place.
All right.
With y'all, she wouldn't have to change. She wouldn't have to drop out or anything.
Oh, okay.
Just show up with you
Okay,
guys.
I'll let her know
Yeah,
as soon
or
as
she's
she's
all
here.
good today, go on.
I'll let her know and let you. Thank you.
I'm just trying to track down those I haven't heard from. Whoops, I didn't mean for y'all to see all that. All right.
Reese as a study guide.
What?
Reese as a study guide.
All right, so what is your next transaction? Let's see. We paid the fine, we paid $675 to an electronic store for renting digital equipment. All right, we paid $375. What's that gonna be a minus two? What would that be a minus two? $375. We're paying an electronic store to rent some equipment. We're gonna pay out $375. So that's gonna be a minus to what? Cash. Was $675, no wonder you're tough. Anyway, you're supposed to read my mind. Anyhow, and where do you put it on the other side? Under equipment rental. Okay. So get to $675, drop down. Now you're gonna need this all the way to the end. Because we ain't gotta do statements from it. All right, and then the next one. Pay $350. Music expense. Do we have a music rental on there? All right, we paid out how much now? $350? That's a minus to what? And that's also on the other side is a minus two? Music expense, yeah. You'll want to learn more by doing what we're doing now than me standing up here talking. Okay? All right. At this point in time, you should have these totaled on one line. You should have 5175, 350, 350, 400, and 3500. And then you should have the expenses also. Right there, that looks good. Should go down.
Oui, tu as déjà ça.
You have to go online. So, if you go online, put down the bad ones and forget. We just plug them in now. Okay, that looks good. You first.
Non. Il est vraiment. Et je viens de marquer, donc là, c'est regardé.
That's good.
Ça fait moins 400.
Get up.
Yes.
We only had, the equipment rental was about 800. Okay, what was the 800?
300.
Move that over. Here. Take it out right there.
Ça.
All right, so press those colors now. Right down.
Et là, je suis là.
Okay, what is the next one? Read that next one. All right, we're gonna pay $100 on this accounts payable. So $100 does what to accounts payable? What does $100 do to accounts payable? It decreases cash, don't it? And it will decrease accounts payable. Well, now you only owe $250. You've got some of these bills personally. If you think about it, if you got a cell phone bill, it's accounts payable till you pay it. Okay? If you're married back here, you got all kinds of bills, either rent or house payment, electric, water, sewer, electricity, the whole works. They're accounts payable until you pay them once you receive that bill.
Did you add that 100 to the first one?
Now you're paying out cash. You want to add it or subtract? Think of that column one as your checkbook. All right? You know when to subtract from your checkbook, right? You know when to add to it. So same thing with cash. What does this next one say? See $300 from a dentist provided to. All right, number on the 16th, how much money did we receive?
$300.
Add that to your checkbook. Cash. Add that $300 to cash. You received it.
Yes. Ah, the 16th of June.
All right? And where else do you put it?
At his earned.
Right. You get it?
Yes, I know.
Write down your balances every time.
Il a fait pas qui est ça. Qui est pas plus nerveuse. C'est très bien.
We got somebody working ahead of us and Lord doesn't even look like her. You bring down balance every time, right? Looks like hers. Just about finished. That's something that makes almost go off. gosh. What are you guys doing? I thought you were getting it over there. Well, you're getting it more than he's getting it, I guess. All right,
Isn't it true?
that's some of it. But I want you to look at this lady in the back. She worked ahead of us. That's the way it should look. What you left out? You're not putting your expenses for one thing. You got expenses here and here. I look at hers, man, both you guys.
Yes, I forgot.
I think you did most of it, not put down the expenses.
Yes, I forgot.
And guys, it's up here too. Okay, guys, here's the story. Even if you cannot speak a word of English, you can copy.
I want to learn. I want to.
Don't try to cheat on a test, just copy it down, wrong. Okay, seriously. What was the 300 for on June the 16th? Combined what?
2 music sets for the day.
All right, so we put that 300 under or plus, and what is this, revenue? All right, so try to bring it down to June the 16th.
I understood, but I forgot some.
So you just forgot a couple of expenses over here. Some of these bills carry that here. How's that advertising? You have one there, right here.
Yes, 500. Yeah, I wrote it
You just
here.
don't have it here though.
No, I forgot.
Go ahead and run down 800 there. So it's here. Then it's brought down some balance every time. That's what you just, what did you have under, what is this? Rent expense, how much was that?
800.
You could have that 800 up here. Well, you got that. Okay, what was this? Oh, you got 700 dollars. Okay, what? You got 800, I know.
Yes.
All right, so here you got 6 something.
I wrote it here, 60.
I know, but you only. Well, what you have to add some more to it, you want to hit it, one hit. She had one hit all the way through, so it may work out. All right. Now, the next transaction after the 300 was what? What was your next transaction? See, this is why I want you to draw a line all the way across. Well, they got these heavy lines. It lets you know you bring down a balance. Okay?
$1,000.
We received the money. We received the money, 1,000. So where are we going to add it? Under? Yeah, but where's the other part? cash. Gotta have two parts, cash and fees earned. So put that 1,000 under cash and under fees earned. 1,000 under cash and under fees earned. Now, this worksheet is gonna be run out of places, and I didn't copy the rest of the worksheet. So you're gonna have to draw little lines at the bottom, fill in those last four transactions on the 30th when we get there. All right, what happened after, wait a minute, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute, back to June the 22nd. You said they received cash on June the 22nd. What does it say? What? They will receive cash.
Okay,
You don't get it, so don't put that 1,000 under cash. You can't count something you don't have. If you owed me $10, I can't count it, I don't have it in my pocket, so it's not my cash. But it goes under accounts receivable. But it still goes under fees earned because we're on the accrual basis of accounting. It goes under accounts receivable. Now bring down all your balances. All right, this column must be withdrawals because it has nothing in it so far. Okay, but this column is revenue, this column is capital, and this column what is, well, cash over here, accounts receivable here,
Supplies, accounts payable.
supplies, an asset, and accounts payable, a liability. Okay, work on the next two or three. Take a minute. Do I have tennis match, son?
Yeah.
What do you have match?
In 3 weeks.
All right, what was the $500 for? You received $500 for what?
Serving as a teacher.
You got cash for that job? All right, you got cash and you add it to fees earned, just like you do the $1,000 you didn't get. Because in accounting, there's a cash basis and accrual basis. Most businesses use the accrual basis. When you earn it, you record it. When you owe for it, you record it. That's why we have a payable. All right, what's the next item?
Pay $240 for the use of its library music device.
Pay $240 for the use of what?
The use of its library music device.
All right, so you're going a minus to what?
Music expense. And also cash.
Right. Always say the left side first. When we get to chapter 2, that's a debit and a credit. Okay, always say the left side first. Here are your totals down to this point. Do you have $56.35 in cash? Just like a checkbook balance. Do you have $1,000 in accounts receivable? Do you have $350 in supplies? Do you have accounts payable? You owe for supplies $250. Do you have capital $4,000? And then do you have revenue $5,300? Now look at the rest of these items, and you may have to tell me the titles. Right here on your expenses. Where was it? On the 25th? Do you have a minus $350 in what? On your balance. On the 25th, what's that $350 for? What expense is that $350?
Pay $350.
It's what?
We're on the 29th.
Oh, okay, July 29th. Let's go down to that one there. After July the 29th, do you have $590? Is that music expense? Do you have $800? What is that, office expense? Do you have $675? Is that equipment rental expense? And do you have $500? And what expense is that? Advertising. All right. Let's go back. Now we looked at the 29th. So now fill in some of those 30s. Fill in a bunch of those 30s. You may have to draw lines, add another sheet of paper, whatever you have to do at the bottom. Because you ran out of room there somewhere around June the 29th. Okay, yours is starting to look better. But don't you have anything over here at all? You've had no expenses.
I do.
Oh, there's a lot of expenses.
Right.
Every column.
Right.
Okay.
How many do we have in fees earned the 29th?
Fees earned, you have 5,300. 5,300.
Ah, yes.
I believe you got all your expenses. Not any of these yet. This will help you make 100 on that chapter 1 assignment on Cengage. I'll just head them on the back of one of those other sheets will be fine.
The music expense for 29, how much? Music expense.
This young man in front did it in a smart way. He just tore it off. He took the back of those other sheets I had. He just did it that way. Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of room to put those last tracks out.
How many does he have how many did he expend in the?
I don't think we have any here yet.
The music expense.
It's the same 350.
No.
But you don't have it until line. The line in between.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, you should have a line in between. Okay, now what happened on the 30th? What happened on June the 30th?
300 he spent for music.
All right, what was the 300 for music on the 30th?
Yes. Music expense.
All right, you pay out 300?
Yeah.
For music expense on the 30th. So you got a minus on the left side to what? Cash and a minus under music expense. You sure it's 300?
Yes. 300.
I got 900 here. We had 300 way up here on the 16th.
Oh, yes. But
That-
it's after 300 then.
Yeah, but I want you down on the 30th.
Yes. Okay.
All right, what happened on the 30th? We got $900 for what?
Now he received 900.
All right, for what? Some kind of musical services, DJ or something, right?
Yes.
Okay, what happened on the next 30? What's that 400 for? Is that wages?
Yes, wages.
Is 400 wages?
Yeah.
All right, so minus 400 to cash, and over here minus 400 to wage expense. All right. I'm gonna look at the whole thing here. What's the 300 for? There was another 300. Minus to cash, and a minus to what else?
Music.
Was it music expense? So there was another 300. All right, what is the 415? Well, what's the 180 for? What's the 180 for? Now, look at this June the 30th on the 180. Let me explain that to you. How much supplies did you buy? Way up there in transaction 2 or 3, how much supplies did you buy? Well, it's easy to see, 350. Now you go out and count them at the end of the month. You still expect 350 to be there after a month's gone by? No, there's 170 there. So you got 180 you got to subtract out as an expense. So minus 180 to supplies to leave you a balance of 170, and then minus 180 under supplies expense. All right, what's the 415 for? What's the 415?
For miscellaneous expense.
What?
Miscellaneous expense.
All right, and minus the cash for miscellaneous, and then you had a column over there for miscellaneous, right? Now look at this last one on June the 30th. The owner took out $1,000 for personal use, correct? I thought it was 1,000. What did he take the 1,000 out for?
1,000 royalties to National Music.
Oh, we paid 1,000? Okay, we paid $1,000. And that was to what? Music expense again? Minus cash, minus music expense. Okey doke. And there is a 500 for withdrawals. And that's minus 500 under withdrawals and a minus 500 under cash. Now here are your balances, folks. Here are your balances, I guess. No, I didn't show you the balances. I don't know why I didn't show you the balances, but the balance here is what? 30, 39, 20? 1,000, 170, 250, 400, 500, 6,200. Now look over here under the expenses. Now, here's all of your expenses. And here should be your balances. 1,590, 800, 675, 500, 400, 300, 180, and 415. That's got to be your balances under your expenses. You don't have these brought down yet, do you? Oh, you have them over here. Some of those expenses go on another sheet of paper. Okay, you're getting that. What was that 180 for? That was for supplies expense. And it also was a minus to supplies. Do you have a supplies expense up here?
Yes.
We do. And you have supplies over here. Minus to both. Okay, you have these. So,
Si. Mais c'est la colonne de droite, là. Et là, 415, 400. Ouais.
oh, yeah.
420, 180.
C'est quoi ça, 80, mais
C'est là, mais c'est bien.
We don't.
Voilà. Non, ici. Là, je suis en plein, s'il vous plaît.
See, he's putting on this sheet of paper, those last. Or you can fill up. This off. Use it like that.
Ça. Ah, c'était des moins, c'était des moins 400. Ah, plus c'est l'expression.
So you have to make your lines for the last 4 or 5 transactions. That's good. Account. You gonna bring the calculators? Good on top of that. Calculator vehicle. We always do the sales. Calculator. You gotta go all the way to the bottom to get these balances. And they didn't put the balances here. I don't know why not. I don't even know if my pen will write or not. My pen won't write on this one for some reason. Make sure you bring these balances down. All right, now, I don't know what you wrote down here to bring down everything. Bring down these 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, what is it?
I'm not.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good, you put it all in one sheet, good. Yeah, bring down the total of these expenses.
No, so.
See, now on those last quotes you're writing in, you can get those all on one page. You don't have to separate the expenses like they did up here. You're getting there, see, you've got 4,000 on every line. Like on June the 2nd, you didn't put another 4,000, you only put it for the pound. Yeah, on June, okay, if you go down here on June the 6th, you don't put another 4,000.
Just for the balance.
It's a 0. Yeah. Yeah, it's a 0.
But it's not, except from this, it's okay.
Right. Now this one, it's funny. This had expenses. It had mine has to.
You said that on
Are you finished?
the back, I was working.
Hey, minus the supplies.
This was expensive.
And minus the supplies. Minus the love. We need to wrap this up in 5 minutes. That's yours about wrapped up. balance of these totals here. So this is the total. Oh, yeah. But now, something looks funny here. No, something's, okay, we take 500 out. I thought we took 500 out for drawing.
That's the next step.
Oh, okay. Okay, yours all come out of the balance. Here, if you have it all done, all the balance. Okay. What's your balance for cash? All right, what is your balance for, accounts receivable? Supplies? Supplies?
Oh, I didn't take it out.
You had 350, you just 180, he's 170. Yeah, you take it out. That's it. So try it. Do that. One down. Oh, wait, you have 4,000. All right, then you have 500 under drawing. Well, over here, where is this? I thought that's what we checked this. Go ahead. All right, so all your balances check out. I look at 3750, 1,170, 250, 4,500, 6,200.
Oh, it was the very last one. I
Right.
just put it in a second spot.
15,900, 800, 625. All right, it's 15 after. We're gonna take a 15-minute break. I'm gonna use his. It's correct, it looks good, and I'm gonna make 3 or 4 copies. So all of you will have a good copy. All right? Did you get yours straightened out?
I just did it.
She had the same thing. Is yours all checked out? Okay, let's take a 15-minute break. I'm gonna make 5 or 6 copies. Guys, I will give you a good-looking copy, okay? And you're gonna need this for what we do next or at home. We'll give you a good copy. Now, yours is getting there. Yours had a ways to go. You're getting there.
Yes.
I'm only keeping my 9:30 accounting class this morning. I'm leaving for Detroit at 11. And I've got a 6th sister up there, and her last name is Hernandez. Okay? She married a guy from Spain. And, my nieces, they look more like Eva. They took the Spanish side. You took the French side, right? Okay, let's take a 50-minute break. All right. Didn't take Einstein to figure that out, did it?
Bro,
Je vais mettre un truc sur ça.
mais je sais pas quoi mettre ça. Parce que j'ai envie de mettre des slides.
Je vais mettre des slides. Non, deuxième.
Ah oui? Bon. Merde. Attends. C'est ce que je vais faire. Moi je sais. Je sais ce que je vais faire. Genre, moi je vais ajouter.
Je vais mettre ça sur
Je t'ai serré, ça le tient, là. Non, c'est ce que je vais faire, moi. Je vais ajouter. Avec mon bête. Un slide, je vais mettre le gun derrière. Ça, je fais like goes and gun avec un petit truc fire là. Je sais pas, sinon je sais pas comment je vais
ça, on va faire dans les toilettes. Ok, selfie avec un pichoton.
Ok, et cette photo là, t'es.
Non, mais tu vois, je vais mettre ça. Je vais mettre ça.
Mais moi j'attends. J'attends. Puis, c'était où? En fait, j'attends.
Ouais, voilà, je crois que je vais mettre juste ça là.
Tu peux la mettre dans le.
Je sais pas laquelle mettre. Genre, si je mets celle-là. Ah, ouais, celle-là.
C'est là le but. Si on met dans ce slide. Tu peux les mettre dans ce ça par là, ça fait plus cette film d'action. Genre, mais merde.
Et en plus, c'est lui, je vais regarder.
C'est l'été. Ouais, j'avoue, tu peux le faire. Tu dis, ouais, faible de police. Oh, you want a coffee? Oh, all right. What?
Tu vois, elle a fait quoi, bon? Ouais, cache les tiens. Un cookie, ça fait. Là, je peux stocker. L'autre aussi, elle avait une. What?
No, no, le
va.
no, le ha dicho nada. Nada. Oh my God.
Et tu fais des filtres?
Non, moi je modifie. Alors, je mets ta fiche, je modifie. Alors, j'arrive, je dis, vas-y, par exemple, j'ai envie de mettre.
Ah, tu fais des
J'ai envie de mettre celle-là, tu vois. Hop. Alors, je me suis dit, j'ai envie de mettre fiche, je vais modifier. Maintenant, je vais mettre. Déjà, mais la luminosité de fond. Je peux la mettre un petit peu plus clair, mais genre, sinon, elle me fait sur le détail. Je sais rien, mais tu peux jouer avec tout. Et si tu veux tester, tu peux ça.
quoi, ça?
C'est des détails. si tu veux voir ce que ça change. Et c'est la structure, où tu peux lire ça, tu peux en regarder. Tu peux estomper.
Ça fait 38.
Oh. Je sais pas, j'ai vu regarder, je regarde pas la journée.
Você acaba isso aqui. Aqui. Então, aqui é você acaba. São os postos aqui, por isso que você não deveria ter venido.
You get it. You speak more than two languages?
Yes.
How many do you speak?
Five.
How many?
Five.
Huh?
Spanish, French, Catalan, English, and a little bit of German.
Is it easy to keep up with all five?
So I forget.
Yeah.
But if I don't practice, I forget.
Easy. How about you, Eva? How many languages? How many languages do you speak?
Spanish and
Two.
a little bit of French.
One.
A little bit of French.
I think Spanish in this country really useful because Spanish people.
And Louisiana French is useful.
One.
In Louisiana French is useful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You been there?
No, never.
I've been there once. It's nice. It's something else. A lot of blues were played on the street, and then I took a swamp tour down the bayou where people were buried by caskets on top of the ground. Came a flood that washed away. Okay, now this is what we'll be doing at the end of chapter 1 on singing. All right, now, we're not gonna do this in class tonight, we don't have time. It took us so long to get through this problem. But I want everybody to have a correct solution, because I want you to do the 3 statements that are attached to that paper, and I gave them to you. Now, the income statement's gonna look like this, okay? What does an income statement have on it? What does an income statement have on it? Fees earned and expenses. Do you have those on this sheet? Do you have fees earned and the expenses? That's why I want you to have a correct total. Your income statement would be wrong if you didn't have a correct total. All right? I want you to do this and bring it to class next week. Okay, I want you to do the equity statement for next week. You've got everything you need. You've got, again, an investment. You've got the net income from up here. Something looks funny up here. All right, take 4860 away from 62. So is that 1340 right there? That is 1340. All right, you got to add that to your capital and subtract out the withdrawals. All right. Wow. This is the balance sheet. This is not supposed to happen. I don't know what's happened to this transparency. But a balance sheet will have your assets, liabilities, and owner's equity on it. And you've got examples in your book of all these statements. I can go back and show you another mess. I don't know how that got messed up. The solutions came straight from the company. All right, a balance sheet looks like this. Now make sure you get your correct 3-column heading on all statements. A balance sheet is for a day and time, whereas the owner's equity statement, income statement is for a period ending. All right, all your assets and your liabilities and owner capital will equal to your assets. That's the accounting equation. Okay? All right, so that is due next week, okay? Those three statements. And you got correct copies there to do them with. Okay, I'm going to X out of this. And X out of that. We're going to start chapter 2. Now, chapter 1, what we did tonight, that Acct equation, and what we will wrap up next week with those three statements, are the important items in chapter 1. Okay? All right, now chapter 2 gets into more meat in accounting. Chapter 2 will go with you all your accounting life, just like those three statements will go with you in any accounting course you ever take. So let's look at chapter 2. We did this in chapter 1. After you do your homework on Cengage, forget about this. Forget about it. It was just to help you learn the accounting equation. When I say forget about it, we won't be using it anymore. If you took 50 accounting courses, we wouldn't use it anymore. Now, who in here may have taken high school bookkeeping or accounting? Nobody? You all didn't have any kind of accounting in high school, did you? All right, so everybody's on the same foot. Okay, same page, whatever. All right, so we'll forget about this. Now, we're going to use T accounts. I don't know if my pen will write. Yeah, I hit a write on this. We use a T account just for teaching purposes. All right, the left side is a debit. It's abbreviated DR. The right side is a credit. All right, maybe correct abbreviation, maybe not, but that's what we use. So we're going to have titles up here such as cash. Now go to that first transaction we had tonight. The owner invested what in the business? What did the owner invest in the business? Cash? How much? 4,000? Was it? Now we're going to be putting that in a T account or in a ledger account. We'll debit cash for 4,000. We'll have another T account. We'll credit capital for 4,000. Now, a group of these things is called the ledger. A list of the accounts is called the chart of accounts in that ledger. I'm following your book. You'll have this in your book to go back and look at. All right, now here's cash. A debit increases cash. And a credit decreases cash. So we'll learn about those in a minute. But now we increase cash 25, 75, and we paid out 20 and 36 and what have you. But anyway, once we add the debits and add the credits, the balance is 5,900. These are T accounts just for teaching purposes. Now, assets are resources owned or owed for. We don't necessarily, if we got accounts payable, we don't own all those assets, do we? Just like if you owe a car payment, you don't own that car. You and your creditor owns that car. But here are some examples of assets which we've already discussed. Now, liabilities has the word payable after it usually. There's a couple of exceptions. But if you ever see a payable, if it's notes payable, loans payable, mortgage payable, taxes payable, interest payable, wages payable, salaries payable, It's a liability. You owe somebody. Owner's equity is your rights. A drawing is the amount you take out to live on. You do not pay yourself a salary. You do not give yourself a W-2. Revenue has different names: fees earned, commissions, rent, sales. There'll be other names for revenue as we move forward. Now, if you use up your assets, if you use up cash, you use up your assets for expenses. All right, there's many, many more expenses that we'll be adding. Here's what our chart of accounts looks like. Assets start with a 1, liability 2, equity 3, revenue 4, 5. Now, this is a small company. They can only have assets from 11 to 19. A larger company would want to start with 111, so they could go to 199. That way they could have, I guess, 88 assets. This company could only have 7 assets, 7 or 8. All right. You'll learn this as you go along, okay? Double entry. I told you that from the get-go. Everything goes 2 places. And what we did tonight, did everything go 2 places? That's why it's called double entry. Debits and credits will increase and decrease. And there's no particular rule for which a debit does not always increase. It increases an asset, but it decreases in accounts payable. Everything in accounting has a reverse: a debit, credit, an increase, a decrease, a sale, a purchase, an asset, an expense, or liability, an expense, revenue. Everything has a reverse. Learn half of it and everything else is reverse. Okay? All right, so here we have an asset account is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. That's why we studied the accounting equation, and I call this the left side and this the right side when we were doing those transactions, because there's an equal sign in between. Don't have to worry. I will not be messing these up. If I use them for another class, if I don't save them, it comes back to me without my writing on it. Okay? Income statement accounts, you'll be doing an income statement for next week, revenue and expense. Drawing account, a debit increases. All right, now we're going to look at this. All right, I want you to jot this down. All right, jot this down as a rule to go by. Owner's equity is a plus to revenue minus expenses minus drawing. All right. Now, how do I increase an asset? With a debit. Now, if a liability is reversed, how do I increase a liability? With a credit. Now, if owner's equity is on the same side, I'll increase it with a credit. Revenue adds to owner's equity, that would be a credit. Expense would be a debit, and drawing would be a debit. All right, you need that rule that will help you do some transactions, whether it's a journal entry or in a T account. Now, a decrease obviously is the reverse. That's why I say you only have to learn half as much as you think. A credit will decrease an asset. A debit will decrease a liability. A debit will decrease capital. A debit will decrease revenue. A credit will decrease an expense, and a credit will decrease drawings. Just reverses. That says normal balance. Now, what do you want your checkbook? Do you want it to have a plus or a minus? You want it to be a plus, don't you? All right, you don't want to write out bad checks, do you? So if we got a cash up here under this asset, what kind of balance do we want it to have? Debit. We have a credit balance of cash, that means we're writing out bad checks. Now, whatever it takes to increase a transaction, then that's its normal balance. Now, how many of these 6 transactions, 6 items, asset, liability, owner's equity, revenue, expense, and drawing, withdrawals, whatever, how many of those 6 have a debit balance? How many have a debit balance? 3. The other 3 have what kind of a balance? Credits. All right. Assets, liabilities, owner's equity goes on balance sheet. Revenue, expenses goes on an income statement. Your beginning equity plus your net income minus your drawing gives you an equity statement. That's what you'll be preparing next week. So you'll get these rules as we go along. Now we use a journal. And don't worry about these steps right now. It's called journalizing. We make a journal entry. All right, now here's a journal entry. So we're going to make a journal entry, and then we're going to post it to a ledger account. All right. I want you to look at this journal entry and write it down on a plain sheet of paper, the way you see it. Write it down exactly the way you see it. All right. All of you, write this journal entry down the way you see it. Draw the lines if you want to. You don't have to draw the lines. Draw them if you want. Do one line, the month, the date, description, PR, debit, credit. Write the whole thing down exactly as you see it. That's patient, has that book. Okay. You don't have to make pretty headings or anything like that, journal page one, but if you want to, it's okay. Write down entries, important. Give you all a couple minutes. Okay, guys, can you call? You're doing it on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you get the form from?
Sorry?
Where'd you go in and find the form?
Which one, please?
Uh-huh.
You know, the group, it's in French.
Okay.
And I went in Tableau and I thought,
Yeah. Well, that's all. Stop. Stop. All right. What I wanted to do, first of all, I want to see if you can copy. 7 of you copied pretty good, and 1 of you can't copy at all. All right. Now, when we start making journal entries on Cengage, you will have journal paper like this, or I'll bring it to class if we practice in class. Okay, you do have the date, the month. Now, if we have a November the 2nd down here, you do not write the month again. No need to until you go to December. Now, you did put a debit to cash. Always put your debit first, and that is 25,000. And you put a credit to Chris Clark Capital, 25,000. Different line. All right. And then you made a short explanation, invested cash in net solution. I'm not too concerned about your explanations, but I want this debit and this credit correct. All right, now that's the first step in the accounting cycle out of 10 steps, some books, 11 steps, others. First step is to journalize. You have to have a transaction. All right. If you remember back in chapter 1 tonight, we'd put that $25,000 in the accounting equation. And you'd put it under his capital in the accounting equation. But now we're doing it on journal paper. Now we do have to post, and we'd post this as a debit to cash and as a credit to capital. That's your second step in your accounting cycle. Now, in the world of computers, all you have to know is the first step of the accounting cycle to make a journal entry in a computer. And anytime, and you can ask it for a balance sheet or an income statement any day of the week. And a good computer program does all that for you. Computers help you work smarter, not harder. But we need to learn accounting manual. We'll worry about the computers later. Okay? So we learn accounting manual. Of course, you might be using a computer to get into Cengage, sure. And I didn't understand you. Did you go into Excel and design that
No, I went
journal entry? You went to where?
Word. On Word.
On Word.
Yeah, Microsoft.
When you brought up Word, oh, you went to Word and then you drew the form.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought he found it somewhere. I don't know. Maybe somewhere in Cengage you might can find some blank journal paper. I don't know. All right.
You prefer it by draw the.
No. I prefer you do everything on the computer that you can. Okay. You know, if you want to do these balance sheet and income statement and equity statement in Excel, you're welcome to. So it's good to, Excel is one major tool in the accounting world. And there's all kinds of software, QuickBooks Pro and Peachtree and so forth. Now, I use a tax program now to prepare taxes. And what I used to take me 30 minutes to do by handwriting a return or typing it now takes me 5 minutes to do that same tax return on a computer. And I still charge $200 and some for that tax return. And I've got 10 minutes labor involved. Okay? So computers helps you work smarter, not harder. All right. So that's a transaction. Let's bring it down to T accounts. T accounts are teaching purposes only. Here are some things that you went over tonight when you did that, when we did that work in class. Receive cash from services, we debit cash, credit fees earned. Service provided on account, we debit accounts receivable and credit fees earned. Receive cash on account, debit cash and credit accounts receivable. Purchase on account, debit purchases probably or merchandise inventory and credit accounts payable. Paid on account, debit accounts payable like we did for those supplies and credit cash. Paid cash out, could be an expense, credit cash. Owner investment, debit cash, credit equity. Owner withdrawal, debit drawing. You did all those tonight pretty much in that accounting equation. You have done them. We're just doing them a different way in this chapter. Could have had some of our students during the day class, about half of them, in fact, have had a year or two of accounting in high school, which is really bookkeeping, and it's hard to separate the two. But what they did in high school in 2 years, we will do in here, probably after about 6 chapters, so forth, because they took it real slow in high school, okay? All right, so here we bought land. We debit land, credit cash. We put it under land, a debit to increase it, and credit cash to decrease it. Here we bought supplies on account, just like we did tonight. We debit supplies and credit accounts payable. And we debit supplies to increase it, and we credit accounts payable to increase it. And remember, both of these are increase. A debit increases an asset, and a credit increases a liability. All right, this is called a compound entry. You didn't even have one of those. They did them separate tonight on your kind of equation. A compound entry is you have more than one debit, more than one credit. So there's no need to debit expense and credit cash 4 times. Do it once. Post to cash, post to wage, rent, utilities, miscellaneous. You know, no matter what country you're in, you have to have a system of keeping records and comparing one company to another company. And I'm sure most countries have some kind of system similar to ours. And we're getting more into international accounting. International accounting, you have to know the exchange rates and so forth. You might take a loss or a gain on accounts receivable in international accounting. Okay? How does a Spanish dollar compare to a US dollar? What's the ratio?
$1, €1 is $1.16.
Okay, you're using the euro system?
Yeah.
Okay, so €1 is
16 or 66.
1 point something dollars.
1.16.
Okay, how about France?
The same.
It's the same.
Oh, they're using euro too. So Germany and all those countries are using the euro.
Except,
Of course, Mexico still uses the peso. Now, Russia is not in that. They use probably still the ruble and some other system. So exchange rates, Canada's up and down. Sometimes you could get 5 Canadian quarters for a US dollar, and then sometimes you may only get 90 cents Canadian money for a US dollar. It depends if it's up or down. I took some students one time to Disney Land in California. I sponsored PBL, and we competed with people in the same state. Then we competed national. That's where our national conference was. I rode one of those rides at Disneyland, one that shakes you up, moves you around. So when I get out of the seat, I check my wallet, make sure I've got it, but there's somebody else's wallet laying in the seat. Well, now, if you turn in things to places like that, it probably never gets to the owner, or I would have turned it in. But anyway, it had $2,500 in it of Taiwan money. That could have been good news or not so good news. There was no credit card, no name, no photo ID, no nothing. So when I took it back to the hotel, they had exchange rates there, and I cashed it in. $2,500 of Taiwan money was only worth about 60 something dollars in American money. So that was some kid's allowance. Okay, and he lost it, had it in a wallet. All right. Net Solutions purchased 1,350 supplies, determined that the cost of supplies on hand was $550. Now, if you had 1,350 and you got $550 on hand, so how many did you use? It's pretty easy to see. You used 800, didn't you? You went out and counted 550. And that is your journal entry: debit supplies expense and credit supplies. You have these examples, I think, in your textbook. All right, the owner takes out money for personal use, debit to drawing, credit to cash. That decreases cash, that increases drawing. Prepare a journal entry for the purchase of a truck. All right. Make this journal entry on that same page you were scribbling on a minute ago. You bought a $10,000 truck. And you paid $2,000 down. Make that journal entry. And plain sheet of paper, just like you did that when you copied. Are you finished? I want you to buy a truck. Now, and make a journal entry now. Buy that $10,000 truck and pay $2,000 down. Buy a $10,000 truck and pay $2,000 down, and make me a journal entry that looks like this.
He's supposed to copy that one, right?
What?
He's supposed to copy that
No, no. All right. Let's move on. I want you to make this journal entry. I want you to write it down like you did the other one, except I want you to buy a $10,000 truck and pay $2,000 down cash, and you would have owed $8,000. That's what I wanted. But some of you looked awful puzzled, so we'll move on. Okay? All right. Here we paid insurance. Now, you have automobile insurance. You don't? Oh, you drive the car tonight? You don't drive the car? You drive the car?
Yes.
You have insurance on it?
Yes.
Well, do they let you have that insurance for 2 or 3 months and they bill you, or you pay for it in advance? That's called prepay. That's what we're doing here. We're prepaying insurance. It's a prepaid insurance is an asset. You first pay that insurance, you may pay $1,000 every 6 months. You got prepaid insurance, $1,000. You got a credit to cash. But when the month goes by, you use up so much of that $1,000, don't you? You turn it into expense. So that's what we're trying to show here. We bought insurance for $2,400 and we credit cash. That's for a 1-year policy. So how much would that be a month? If you pay $2,400 for a year, how much are you paying a month? How much? $200 a month for insurance. So after a month goes by, you use up $200. All right, here is 3 journal entries on the prepaid insurance. And you see, you debit. This is an asset. You debit the cash. Now we're not having T accounts. These are called ledger accounts. Now these are real world. The T accounts are not real world. It helps you learn accounting. You may use it in other accounting places. But here's the real thing, a ledger. Now, if you got a T account, you got to add up the left side, and you got to add up the right side, and take the difference to get a balance. That's called footing, F-O-O-T-I-N-G. However, if we've got a debit and a credit, we should have a balance as we go. Now, some have a debit and a credit balance over here. In other words, that have 4 columns. This is a 2-column ledger. Rent expense, $800, credit cash. All right, I got to explain this one to you. Do you all know how often your rent, does your scholarship pay your rent?
Yeah.
So y'all don't have to pay it. All right. Does anybody else in here rent? Buy rent? All right. If you rent and you pay your landlord, he debits cash. But he has not earned that rent yet. You may pay 2 months in advance or 3 months. Now, if you pay rent by the month, he'll debit cash and he'll credit rent revenue. But if you pay him 6 months in advance, he's going to debit cash and credit unearned rent until you stay there a month. Then it turns into revenue. Some assets like supplies and prepaid insurance turns into an expense after a month. Unearned rent. Now, unearned rent is a liability. It don't have payable after it, but it's a liability. If you canceled your lease, some of that may have to be paid back to you. All right, we bought office equipment on account. Okay, we paid for miscellaneous expense with cash. Okay, we paid some of our accounts payable. Now, I want you to look at these numbers. That is in the PR column of a journal. Now, we'll have to learn to post. However, I don't even test you on posting. You'll see posted in chapter 2. Computers post for you. What you do when you take this accounts payable of 400 down to here, you bring the account number 11 up to here to show you posted. It's all you do. And if you have a PR column down here, you bring down a page number. But I don't like this kind of posting. I like the ledger accounts to post in. All right, wage expense, it's posted to wage expense. And you can see the account number. That just helps you track if you have a mistake or something. Fees earned, debit cash. Debit accounts receivable, credit fees earned. We had one of those tonight. Prepare journal entries for fees earned. All right. If I had you to prepare this, you would have debited accounts receivable and you'd credit fees earned, wouldn't you? Okay. Debit accounts payable, credit cash. Debit cash and credit your accounts receivable. Somebody owed you. Debit supplies and credit cash. You bought more supplies. Paid wage expense. Now remember, a debit increases an expense, and a credit decreases an asset. Utility expense, cash for fees earned, accounts receivable for fees earned, then drawing. All right, if you were using T accounts, you have to add up the left side of your cash and then add up your right side. The left side is cash receipts, of course, like your checkbook. Well, checkbook don't have a left side, but your left side here is additions to your checkbook. And your right side is subtractions to your checkbook. All right, so here's how cash might look in a real ledger. All right, now this one has a 4-column ledger. Every time you spend cash or get cash, you have the balance. It's already done. What I had you to do not in the account equation, I wanted you to bring down the balance after every date. Here, you don't have to worry about it. You keep a balance. So I prefer the 4-column ledger. A debit and a debit balance, a credit and a credit balance. And here is your cash on this date. It don't work up there. All right, it works here. All right, what is my cash balance on December 16th? What's my cash balance on December 16th? How much?
3,756.
46.
I don't know, 4630.
Oh, you're way down. You were way down here, 3,730. But now on the 16th, now you came down one. Is that 4630? You came down one too much. This is a 4-column ledger. Many more 4-column ledgers. Now, you've got all these balances in ledger. We take all those balances out and we do a trial balance. Now, a trial balance has assets on it, liabilities, owner's equity, drawing, fees earned or revenue, and expenses. It has all 6, don't it? Now, any of you ever transpose? Okay, you wrote out a check for $96, but you put it in your checkbook as 69. That's called transposing. Now your checkbook's going to show more money than you've got, right? And you're going to write out a bad check. Now, if you transpose a number, what's the difference between those two numbers? The correct number and the wrong number? What's the difference? And 96 and 69. Now, the difference in a transposed number is always divisible by 9 even. If you're looking for errors, this may happen. Now, that's one error, type of error is transposing. And we do it a lot, all of us do. Now, another error might be that you misadded your accounts receivable in your ledger. Another error might be, all right, how much is that? How much? But I meant for it to be 10. Now, that's called a sliding error. That would be a $990 mistake, wouldn't it? So decimals are important in the right place. All right. So a trial balance, it proves your debits are equal to your credits. That's what it proves. For every debit you did record a credit, that's double entry. So it proves double entry. And they're telling you like 542. Let's try subtracting 452. That may not work. 542. Oh, that's transposed different. You're transposing a middle number. It might not be divisible by 9. All right, slide. Here's a sliding error, or here's a sliding error. See, you could have a cash withdrawal and post it to salary expense instead of drawing. So you can make mistakes. We gotta learn how to correct or the entry to correct this error. Okay. On May, you purchased office equipment for 12.5. But you put it in supplies instead of office equipment. So what do we do to correct that? That one's easy. Debit office equipment and take it out, credit office supplies. So some errors are easy corrected with another journal entry. All right, think about A there and think about what your answer would be for A part on this example. How would you correct that? Anybody? What do you think you'd do to correct that? What? All right, what should have been debit? Now you debit salaries expense and credit cash. A credit to cash was okay, wasn't it? Yeah, you had to credit cash. So these are the two things I need to correct. So I want to debit drawing expense and drawing account and credit salary expense. All right, look at this one. How would you handle it? I would reverse that one and start over. This is totally wrong. I would debit accounts payable and credit miscellaneous expense and start over. Then I would debit utility expense and credit cash. I'm not worried about these horizontal analyses yet, vertical analysis, but I am worried about an income statement and balance sheet. So we'll have it in chapter 2. So if you don't learn those statements that you will be doing for homework, plus those I gave you to turn in next week, if you don't learn them chapter 1, you'll get them in chapter 2. Now, of course, horizontal means which way. Which way is horizontal? Right. Well, I'll just explain that to you quickly, so in case you were curious. Horizontal meaning comparing one year to the next. We will compare year 1 and year 2, and the difference, increase or decrease, and the percent. And year 1 would be your base year. You divide 150,000 into 37.5. Vertical, you'll be letting your assets be 100%, convert everything else. Okay. All right, I believe that is the end of situation here. Okay, so what's for homework next week? Read chapter 2. Real well. Finish your homework on Cengage for chapter 1. Finish the homework that we started tonight for that continued problem at the end of your textbook. Now, if you do all that, you'll be up to date. And some of you may want to start a few things in chapter 2 on Cengage. All right? I'll tell you a story real quick and get you out of here by 6:30. Well, since we only take a 15-minute break, we can usually leave at 6:30 instead of 20 till 7. All right? I've got an hour drive to get home, so on. Any questions? Any questions about Cengage, about homework, about Moodle? Okay? But there's a week between clients. You should do a week's work between now and next week. Okay? And your old friend that's coming in Sunday, gonna be pretty much 2 weeks behind. But anyway, she can catch up.
Sure.
She can catch up. You all can help. Get Georgie. He likes blondes. How do I know she's blonde? When I click on her,
Yes, I love it.
it brings up her picture.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me tell you a little quick story and I'll let you go. Don't ever assume anything. Don't assume anything. Were you wrong sometimes when you assume something? When you assume, now you know what the word assume means?
Yes. Oh. Yes.
What does assume mean?
Suppose.
No, like we assume we did something.
It happened.
Yeah, it happened.
I assume that all of you will have every bit of your homework next week and the rest of the semester.
Sure.
I'm wrong. But anyway, but here's my story. My friend told me this story. It happened to him, not me. He assumed things. Okay? Now, you don't tell this kind of jokes in Spain, but you tell worse than this in French. All right? All kinds of stories, okay? But anyway, my friend got up one morning, it was his birthday. He went downstairs, and his wife didn't wish him happy birthday. He went to the table to eat, his kids didn't wish him happy birthday. So he goes to work feeling pretty bad. When he gets to the office, the secretary meets him and says, "Good morning, boss, happy birthday." He was glad somebody remembered. So about lunchtime, his secretary said, "It's your birthday, let's go out and I'll treat you to lunch." So we drove out to a nice restaurant, she bought my lunch. What the heck, you know, it's my birthday. All right, so we were driving back to the office and we were driving down a certain street and she said, "My apartment's down here, it's your birthday, why don't you come up for a drink?"
Oh, there you go.
He said, "Okay, what the heck, it's my birthday, my wife and kids didn't remember." So he goes up for a drink. Okay, and what? Okay, after they have a drink, about 5 minutes later, she asked him, "Do you mind if I go to the bedroom and slip into something more comfortable?" Boy, I'm really assuming now, things are racing through my head. It's my birthday, and I said, "Yes, go ahead." You know what happened? You know what happened? When she came out of that bedroom, behind her,
You're right.
she was giving me a birthday party. Surprise birthday. Behind her came my wife, and my kids, and the office employees, and there I sit with nothing on but my socks. Okay, see y'all next week. Don't assume stuff.
Yeah.